the only acceptable being worthy of worship, that means this is for all times and all places. Yeah? Sorry, it's gone?
I'm calling.
Okay, all time and all places. So if this creator creates human beings at any moment of time, he's not going to contradict himself and say, I am a elephant and worship me as an elephant, or I am a father and a mother, or I am a father and a son and a Holy Spirit, or I am only one and only. These contradictory belief is not expected from a perfect being who does not give these contradictory messages to people. Yeah, you expect consistent, coherent message from someone who is perfect. He is not someone who is, what's it called, maleficent or something like this. You don't expect that, a perfect being. So, from the very beginning of the history of human beings, there was always communication at all times, different places, and they all received the same message about that there is only one creator worthy of worship, and you worship that. That, in Arabic language, is called Islam, the Arabic term, which is a state of submission to this creator, to this being, to this God. Whoever does that is a Muslim. So in this understanding, all religion from the creator was the same religion. Okay? Religion of submission and surrender to this one God. But what happened as time went by, people diverted away from it, corrupted this message for the whims and desires, they called it different isms and belief systems or whatever. So they went away from the true teaching, and now they have been diverted to alternate paths, ways and ideologies. So Islam, if you ask like, why wasn't there always Islam? There was always Islam. Because that was the only... The Quran is the final revelation that was given about 1440 something years ago. The first revelation? Yeah. First revelation is, if you think about revelation, the personal revelation was the first man God created. He spoke to him, so gave him instructions. No, I'm talking about history of human beings. Yeah. When it comes to human beings and humanity, the first human beings received revelation from God. Okay, we call him Adam. Adam received revelation from God, and lived his life accordingly, and he taught his children accordingly. And then later in times, they became what we call prophets and messengers. Some of them had a law, meaning do's and don'ts. If you do, you will destabilize. If you don't do it, the society will be destabilized, and there will be problems in society. So there was a structure to it. So these prophets either followed the law-giving prophets, which are messengers at that one point, or messengers came with law and says, okay, fine, don't do these things. This is not good for the society and good for your well-being or your well-being in the hereafter, because you're not created just to have some fun here in this life, but there is another life afterwards, okay, which is the eternal life. So don't waste your life, the ultimate abode, which is the hereafter, eternal life, by wasting and not fulfilling your duty in this life, which is momentary. People want for pleasure, but no pleasure is everlasting in this life. You go for drugs or whatever some people do, and it gives them momentary pleasure, and then it wears off. You have companionship, and then it ends. For example, we're talking about physical intimacy between, couple, for example. So these, pleasurable experiences shouldn't be the only drive to live our life and forget the hereafter. This is what the Quran reminds us. Don't forget the hereafter, the ultimate abode. Yes, you can enjoy this life, but within a boundary, okay? But the real enjoyment that is waiting for you is the hereafter, where whatever you want, imagine whatever you wish, that pleases you, gives you comfort, give you contentment, give you pleasure, happiness will be provided for you. So people here...
In Islam, don't you believe that there's, 72...
Yeah, so in Islam, we believe God will provide and cater for people's sexual needs and sexual pleasure. If you find pleasure through sex in this life, and you feel that, yes, I would like that, this is not going to be taken away from you. That kind of pleasure will be given to, in fact, in a way or an intensity and in the broader aspect of the things which you will really appreciate and enjoy as a pleasure in forms of reward.
Does God then say that that's wrong?
What?
As in, if I experience pleasure from sex or drugs, God says it's wrong?
What we're saying is God creates us and gives us a code to live by and says, if you fulfill the purpose of your life within this boundary, within this code, then you are recipient of.
And if you don't?
If you don't, then there will be, no, if you don't, then you face the consequences. Because the consequence.
Why would an all-perfect being want to?
What's the question, sorry?
Why would an omniscient, omnibenevolent, all good, perfect being?
There's something else you're missing. Carry on. Why would an omniscient, omnibenevolent, all good, and omnipotent and you're missing a crucial. Perfect and there's something missing. You see, the problem of this discussion in philosophy, they miss a crucial element. God is wise, all wise.
Yeah, omniscient, all knowing.
No,
Similar.
there's a difference between wisdom and knowledge. Clear difference between wisdom and knowledge. So when we talk about the issues of whether Euthyphros' dilemma, the problem of evil,
I think
no, what I'm saying is, in philosophy, look, you may be well read in philosophy, but I can tell you from what you've read and what I've read, people often miss this from the equation, okay? They miss this and they say, how can a all-knowing, all good, omnibenevolent God send people to hell or create evil and this suffering? They misunderstand that because what we say is, God is all wise. From his wisdom, he creates a system in which there can be manifestations of suffering, of good or bad, okay? But God gives us all of this for a reason, so that this can help you to develop and overcome. And eventually you can come out of all of this through a test where you say, yes, I have seen all of these things that attracts people. It tells us to get all of this pleasure and so on. But ultimately, I can remove myself from all of these obstacles and fulfill my purpose of my creation. Once you do that,
just to follow the rules that God.
No, the purpose of your creation is to worship God.
Okay.
So why then do
Sorry?
babies?
That's just blind.
Why then do babies die?
Hang on. Babies die because that's their lifespan. God creates. Let's understand. Look,
He doesn't get a chance.
what you need to understand is this.
A baby doesn't get a chance to fulfill God.
And where does the baby go?
I don't know. I ask you and you tell me where.
Yeah, the baby doesn't go to hell.
Where does the baby go?
Why not?
I'm telling you, baby.
Why not?
Look, when we talk about accountability, who is accountable for their actions according to our belief system? The accountability is on those who differentiates and understand the difference between right and wrong, good and evil. So baby hasn't got the differentiation capability to know what is good and right. So according to an opinion, a very accepted opinion in Islam, babies and children, before they reach the age of discernment, they will go to paradise because they have not done anything to receive the punishment.
But they also have done nothing to receive
Sorry?
They've done nothing to receive the praise of God. either.
Hang on. So now, where do you put them? Because there's two places. Now,
That's my question.
No, I'm going to tell you. There is two places. One is place of reward and punishment. Sorry, reward and joy and happiness and tranquility. And other is that. Do you expect them to put it on a place where it's neutral? What do you mean by neutral?
I never said that.
Okay, so I would like you to give me an alternative.
No, I question the idea that a being that hasn't had a chance to be good or bad is eternally praised.
No. We're talking about babies. You're now going to a different topic altogether.
A baby hasn't had a chance to be good or bad.
Yeah, so if a baby is placed in paradise, in heaven, do you have a problem?
No, I just don't know, why has it been?
No, let's understand something. I want to know the objections, intellectual objections to this. If God is showing his grace, his mercy,
Believe in God?
please. Everyone's born in the believing in something greater than them. We call them the natural disposition to know something. This is intuitive, and in religious psychological studies, this is well known. Atheism is going against its intuitiveness belief, suppressing something and then believing otherwise. That's what we understand from psychology, okay? The latest studies demonstrates that. So when I'm saying, if the babies and children, young children, underaged, are put in a place of reward, would you complain?
No, the question is why.
Now I'm saying there is only two. Okay, fine, then there you go. That's it. There's no objection.
That's not the debate. It's why do they go there?
There's only two places to go.
Okay. The one.
Where would you want them
Why
to
are there
go?
only two places to go?
God decides that.
Yeah. I think it's blind to say that.
Hang on. If God decides to create you as an elephant and create me as a cabbage, do I complain?
As a cabbage, you wouldn't have the capacity.
Okay, give another example then. You know, something else that like another animal. Lizard. Yeah? There's nothing for to complain because it wasn't my life to begin with. What someone's given me life is already some gift
Do you think
of some
lizards
kind.
believe in God?
No, you're going to something different. I am saying, if God made you a man and God made you a woman instead, you know, are you going to start complaining why God made you a man and why you made you a woman and so on?
Some people do.
Yeah. But is it justifiable? Is it justifiable?
No.
Exactly not. God is the one who is the creator and maker. The prerogative of how a creator creates, how a painter paints. You can't say, I want you to paint like this. You are a painter. You're telling the painter what to paint? No. The painter has the autonomy. The painter has the autonomy to paint. The creator has the autonomy to create. So we can't question. So now the question is, if now in this paradigm of belief system, the creator made two places, eternal places, heaven and hell, reward and punishment place, where would you want that baby to go?
Painters can make terrible paintings.
Yeah, no problem. Where would you want that baby to go? You would want the baby not to be punished. You would say, I don't mind if the baby has not having done anything, going to a place of reward.
Okay, so if I lived in this world and I did nothing, I just existed, and where would I go? I just existed.
If you just existed and you didn't have any ability to differentiate between right and wrong, then there's no accountability. That's why in Islam, those people who are insane, cannot differentiate between right and wrong, the pen is lifted from them. They are not accountable because they can't differentiate what is right, what is wrong. Okay? So likewise, if you just existed without knowing good and bad, evil, and so on and so forth, differentiating between right and wrong, you are not accountable. You're not punishable. You can't be punished because that's the justice of God. So when we talk about the wisdom, God creates within this wisdom and gave us the opposite to understand. For example, pain and pleasure. If we didn't understand what is pain, you'd have not a full appreciation what is pleasure. If you didn't know between darkness and light, that's why God creates opposites for us to understand, and somehow...
Okay, but there may be so much more of one opposite. There may be so much more evil.
Look, God says He is not creating evil. Often, evil... ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر. The corruption has appeared in the land and the sea because of what man, his hands has done.
You say God is omnipotent?
Oh, please. I'm explaining to you a very important principle. I cannot blame God for having skin cancer because I created a hole in the ozone layer. Human beings did it. God said, do not transgress the balance that He set up in this world. Don't transgress the balance. Don't pollute the sea. Don't pollute the air. Don't pollute the land. And what we do? We do the opposite. So once we do the opposite, we are the ones creating suffering and evil. God...
But we still go, but where do we go after? We go to heaven or we go to hell?
No, look. Heaven and hell, within this reality of us, we need to abstain from doing things which are, that can incur punishment.
That's just a completely wrong belief.
Sorry?
That's just wrong. Because
What's wrong?
Because then
I don't understand your point.
Because then you're saying is what we have to do is we have to abstain.
From what?
We have to I don't know, abide to our God-given nature in order to go to hell. Go to heaven. Sorry, is that right?
Let me clarify again. God has given us, this is the equation. If you do this and if you avoid this, you become the recipients of God's mercy and His grace, and you go to heaven, and He promises you that. If somebody doesn't do that, is that person justifiable to go to those places? When the message is clear, the warning is clear, the consequence that awaits as a reward or punishment is clear. Is that justifiable?
But He's all good.
He's all wise. You keep him calm. The same... One second. No. Can I finish? This is the problem of studying philosophy.
I'm not talking about studying philosophy. Prior to studying philosophy,
I am saying God is all good means what?
I'm asking you.
I'm questioning that. What does it mean?
It's in the
entirely
writing.
good.
He is
No, what does it
entirely
mean?
It's entirely good. He does nothing
good.
bad.
Wrong.
A human can be good.
God is perfect being in which he demonstrates his wisdom. And part of his wisdom is when he gives people free will, and within this free will, people can disobey him. Disobeying is bad. Because if God says, do not kill, and you kill, that's a disobeying. That's bad. Look, God is the creator of all actions. He doesn't want people to create.
He's the creator of all actions.
I'm explaining. Perhaps you'll understand. God is the creator of actions. He has given certain amount of free will to people. He said, do not rape, do not kill, do not steal. Let's take these three examples. Those people who do, they're accountable for punishment.
But he's still the origin of all the actions.
Yeah, we still have free will.
You said that.
Just because God gives you free will doesn't mean he's the one causing the rape, the stealing.
God gives you free will. With your free will, you can do good or you can do bad. Correct?
Yeah.
So that God-given free will includes good and bad. Trace it back. You have God has good and God has bad.
No,
so then you have this
it doesn't follow. I'll tell you why it's illogical. God can either create you to do all good. He could do that.
But he hasn't.
No. Let's understand. He could do that. Would you have a choice in that? Would you have free? Does that mean you have a free choice?
Why is having choice important?
It doesn't.
Because according to God, he can create creation as he wills. Remember, the painter has autonomy. God created agents who cannot disobey him. Do you know who they are? The angels. But God created another creation, human beings, who can disobey him. Why? God creates a human beings, free agents, human beings, who can disobey and appreciate that there is, by their own volition, by their own acceptance, that yes, there is a creator over me. Up to the people.
Why?
And based on their ego or submission of their ego, God will reward them or punish them.
So
autonomy.
God demonstrates his wisdom to us.
No, God created us so that one of the creation like us can appreciate that we were nothing and we were created, right? A painter, when a painter creates, the painter has no obligation to create. The painter creates because by nature, he's a painter.
Okay,
the painting will follow. Our creator, our God, in his nature, he's a creator. We say the creation follows from it. But the question now is, do you expect God only to create people like robots, or do you appreciate that God has given us a certain amount of free will and appreciate ourselves whether we want to accept him or not? This is another degree and level of the highness of a creation. That's why God says he ennobled Bani Adam. He's ennobled this creation from other creation.
So God creates people and gives us the choice to accept his wisdom.
To accept him or not?
If we don't,
okay. Why does a perfect being need to create people?
He doesn't need to create anything.
Why
autonomy.
Why?
Autonomous. As I told you, God creates as he wills. So look, the question is, we're going back to the same question.
Yeah, no.
Why does the painter paint? The painter painted a building, and you're saying, why did you paint a building? Why didn't you paint a jacket? You are taking the autonomy from the painter. Now, do you have any right or any justification to question that?
The painter is trying to create something beautiful.
No, one second. Do you have any right or justification to question the painter for what they paint?
For a painting, I have every right to question what he's doing.
Think about what you're saying. You are questioning the painter's autonomy.
I think you should think about what you're saying.
If I'm commissioning,
Hang on. I want to know your objection.
No, I'm telling you. I think first of all, I think it's completely wrong.
What's
to
wrong?
Postulate a belief in God whilst arguing that there's free will. You can't say that God has given humans free will to do wrong, to do right, and to do wrong. Whilst at the same time saying that since God has given you this, then goodness and badness will emanate from God. Therefore, God possesses evil and some form of badness. Not only that, one second.
Okay.
Not only that, but if you don't accept God's belief, then what? You don't accept his belief, and then what happens to you? You exist without God, you go by your daily life without doing anything, and then what happens?
Okay.
The choice is there, you don't make the choice, and so what happens?
Right. So the one who gave you life and the means to sustain life, instead of being grateful, you're saying, no. It's like, you are employed by a company, and the company that you go to, you don't go to at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock when it's your shift. You don't do its work. And then you say, why should I? I just want to do whatever I want to. Is that sensible? Right. So once a creator created you, and he gives you a role, a purpose, and a duty, and you don't fulfill that duty, you can't say, I don't care. Hang on, think about it. You don't say, I don't care, because do you have any justification to disbelieve in a creator? The answer is no.
Your whole argument presupposes any existence.
Hang on. That's why we go back to the existence of the creator first. Do you have any reason to reject God's existence?
I have reason to not believe it, but it doesn't mean that I will reject it.
Now I want to know, do you have any grounds?
For the same reasons I don't have grounds to believe in God.
What was the grounds?
I do have grounds to believe in God. I don't have grounds to believe that God exists.
There is a originator of this world, or there isn't one? Do you have another option?
I do believe in God. I think that God's the only
Look, you are now questioning the existence of God from the very beginning. I'm saying, intellectually, intellectually, can you have a belief when there is no God and reject the existence of a God?
believe in God.
No, in the reality of accepting there is a creator or not. I'm saying no, it's not an intellectual position. Intellectually, there is only two positions. There's a creator that exists or doesn't exist. All the evidence, all the reasons points all.
Or nothing. Or nothing. God exists, God doesn't, or nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
Reductionist.
What does it mean nothing? Explain.
I'm saying or
No, I want to know what does it mean the third option.
Chance, chaos, nothing. Sorry?
One second. This cosmos is either originated by a creator, one option, or self-existing, or nothingness originated it. Any other options?
No, that's it.
Fine.
Or I agree with those two.
Good. When we examine these three options, can something originate itself when it wasn't existent in the first place at one point? No. So that leaves to now two options. There is another option, but never mind. Now actually we talked about this option. Nothingness originated it. Can nothingness, which is the absence of everything, not Professor Lawrence Krauss's nothing, that's level 5. We're talking about level 9 nothing.
Okay.
Right? Absence of quantum fields, absence of abstract objects, absence of potentiality, absence of everything basically. If that is a thing, even though it's nothing, can it do anything? The answer is no. So nothingness.
Because nothing can bring about.
Nothing cannot bring anything because it doesn't exist.
Correct. But God can also not have existed.
Sorry? Ignore.
That's fine. Listen.
No, let's wrap this up.
One second. I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
I do believe in God. I believe in something.
But is your belief in God intellectual?
My My belief in God is faith.
Is it intellectual?
My belief in God is an investment in something.
Fine.
Yes, however.
Is it intellectually?
However, I'm still puzzled and I'm still working it out as a student.
No problem.
As to if you can still believe in God as well as having free will, I think it's wrong at this moment to think that if God exists, if your free will is God-given and you have the ability to do wrong, then if since your free will...
We can talk about free will, but that's not a discussion now
I know,
because
but then
you have to go.
if everything emanates from God, then so does evil.
No. Remember what I said? God is the creator of everything, right? But you can't say attribute evil to God just because he's the source of everything, okay? So if I give you money and with this money you do bad things, you can't blame me, you have to blame yourself. Yeah, you have to understand this kind of understanding, right? Yeah, so just because God is the source and origin of everything, it doesn't mean God is the one who causes all the evil actions. Coming back to these two options, nothingness cannot create anything. So we are left with the only viable intellectual position that something else created this universe. That belief in God is intellectual. Yeah? So it's not a faith which is based on nothing.
It is faith.
Okay, I would not call it faith then.
It's faith.
This knowledge. Okay, I'm telling you, it's my knowledge of possibilities tells me that now I have knowledge that there is a creator of this cosmos, and it's not nothingness, and it's not itself. I'm going to call it faith because this is again, and I'm saying it's not faith. Tell me, what in my possibilities that I've discussed, I brought faith in it?
Your belief, but premise one. Premise
That-
one.
what was-
Premise one. Your belief in God exists.
No.
Yeah, or you say believe
I said, no, wrong. That wasn't my premise.
No.
My premise was,
You believe in God.
no. My premise one was what? The universe, the cosmos exists.
Yeah.
Do you disagree with the premise?
This exists.
Do you disagree with the premise?
Who
Good.
created it?
Hang on. Do you disagree? No. Next question is, I am premise, can this universe exist by itself or does it need something external to it? Okay? So my premise is the universe, I mean, we're not going into syllogism, but ultimately we've discussed this already, right? There's no point going to syllogisms and going counterforth. We've already discussed there was no faith element in it. We're using logic and rationality. Based on logical rationality, we made an inference that yes, there is a creator, originator of this universe. If you call it faith, I would disagree. It's an inference. It's a logical inference.
There's a gap.
Is that a faith or a logical inference?
There's a gap. I have somewhere to be at 6 o'clock, but
Nice talking to you.
Nice to speak to
Yeah, you
Good
take
luck.
care. But carry on talking more, discussing more. I recommend the book if you haven't read by Hamza Zortzis. Have you read this book? Called The Divine Reality. Let me show you how it looks like. It's downloadable easily from Sapiens Institute.
I still think it's wrong.
No. Before you say anything wrong or right, I am saying be open-minded to
I am
read more, and I'm giving you to read this book. Yeah? The Divine Reality.
I am open-minded, but I still think it's wrong.
No. You can think it's wrong, but what I'm asking you is to have an open-minded approach. It's called this Divine Reality.
Is it your book?
It's not my book. Okay? By someone called Hamza Zortzis, with a T Zortzis. Yeah? Do you want to take a picture of it?
I got it.
Yeah? It's freely downloadable from Sapiens Institute, and it goes through some of the questions that we've talked about here, and it will help you to make a direction for you when you take. What's your name?
Miles.
It's nice talking to you. You take care. No offense intended. We had a very pleasant discussion.
None at all.
Okay.
None at all. I respect any theist. I disrespect any atheist. But it's the same logic that the theist uses to believe in God, the atheist uses to disbelieve in God.
Well, questionable some ways.
I have 2 more years to discover that.
No worries.
Thank you very
You're
much.
studying philosophy? Yeah.
Okay.
No, I figured that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you very
first year what they do, I know I'm going to let you know. First year what they do, they totally brainwash you so that you can start freshly thinking.
Yeah, I
In the
know.
first year philosophy
I've
course,
studied philosophy for 2 years already.
philosophy course, as you realize, first year they want you to be critical thinkers.
Yeah.
That's why they will really mess you up in that way. It's a good thing in a way, but some people, if they don't go along, they really come to a disaster. So carry on, and then you come to a point you can critically think yourself and judge between all these philosophical ideas which makes us know.
Thank you very much. Good luck
Take
with
care.
this.
You too. Thank you. See you later.
Then you will find